And just like that, we're live.
Oh,
Yeah. I see some familiar faces. Oh my goodness. Well, what is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. I am your host, Stevie V. This is episode 693 alongside Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
hello, darling. I'm feeling thick tonight, darling. That's why I wore my little hat here.
Okay, nice and thick. I love it. Very
Hey.
cool. Well, we've got so much to get into on this episode. A little later, we've got some hot topics. We've got some advice to give, plus your favorite thirst trap. We are live, so put your comments in the comments section. But first, we love it when you talk back to us. And this one came from somebody that's on our Instagram account, and we want to shout him out. He goes by No Internet Inches. Is that right? No Internet Inches. Yeah. No Internet Inches is his name. Oh, excuse me. Secret. Do you know his name, Kodi? Because it's
No.
like, yeah, let me get it really quickly. Anyway, he wanted us to shout it out afterwards. I'll give you his name in a minute, but he said, "Hey there, was listening to our latest podcast, 692. We've been talking a lot about tops. Our last episode, we were talking about what makes a lazy top, and he had some things to say about this. We also were talking on a recent episode 691 about a lot of bottoms finding it easier to be tops and not to bottom for a whole host of reasons. We'll let you listen to those. But this gentleman decided to write in and said, was listening, and it got me thinking on the whole topic of topping. Something that's not discussed enough about is that expectation of someone with a big dick, which I fall into. Is he is they most people think that he's automatically a top. I know, poor me and having a big dick, but to be honest, I consider myself more of a side and will always top if someone wants me to. Side note, I have tried toys on myself enough in my queer journey to know it's not something I really desire or need. My special spot, we were also talking about that area that we are drawn to that might be a little bit, what was it? Inordinary was
Mm-hmm.
his neck, which I'm pissed about because of all the fun places that get people off. Mine is my neck. What the fuck? So, anyways, he loves the show. The neck is a good one. I think that is there's a lot of nerves going up and down your neck, right, Kodi? And
Oh,
I think it's
yeah.
really, yeah. Okay, he goes by, if you want to follow him, at Secret Agent M and the letter or the number 8. M at Secret Agent M, the number 8. M8. And you'll see how big he is. But Kodi, just to break down what he was talking about, that he is of larger size, and I can vouch for it. I looked at it and it is pretty big. So most people do put him in that category automatically. I am not on the small side, and
Mm-hmm.
you are either. And people have often done the same thing for me too. And then
Oh, really?
years ago, I was always a bottom for years and years and years, and
Mm-hmm.
still enjoy bottoming. But recent years, as I've said on my show, if you listen to the show, I've enjoyed topping and being a lot more verse. And so now when people see it and then I do top them, it does kind of go in linear line that, oh, right, that makes you top. A lot of people associate bigger tools with topping. Does he have a point? And but is doesn't he have a good he's being a good sport about it too, because even though he'd rather just be a side, he will top his hungry bottoms.
And right, and that's what it is. You got to give the bottoms what they want, and at the end of the day, that's what they want. They want a big dick. So, of
Yeah.
course, when someone sees a larger appendage down there, they're
Yeah.
going to automatically assume. I feel like that's par for the course, and I feel like if that's the burden that you have to bear, there's worse burdens to bear. I feel like so.
Yeah.
But assert yourself at the end of the day, and don't do anything that you don't want to do. If you feel like there's big dick bottoms out there, maybe
Yeah.
that's something that you can explore. If you if you would like to. I know you said you're more of a side, but there's also that component that you can read into or explore a little bit more.
Yeah, I think he said he's tried every toy underneath the sun, and it's just not his thing. He's more of a
Okay.
side, and we don't give enough credit to the people that just want to be sides. And there's a whole host of other things you can be doing. And clearly, his neck is sensitive, and that's something he likes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but no, we appreciate you writing into us and letting us know, because I do think there's an automatic assumption that if somebody has a huge dick, that they're the top in the room, and we shouldn't. And the more we talk about this on this show, we can dispel those myths. And not
That's
everybody
right.
wants to be top or bottom, so as well. So
Yeah.
it's
Size
good.
size is a perfectly um valid sexual preference. There
Yeah.
we go.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh my gosh. We are live. Many of you are watching us live. Bryce, watching us live, says, as a bottom, an average dick is more pleasurable. I do not want to be saying Hail Mary every time a huge dick comes out, laughing out loud. And I agree. Yeah, a lot of people are intimidated by that. And you either want medium to, if not small at times, because those large ones, it takes a whole, yeah, you are shouting out Hail Mary or every other prayer under the sun.
I
So,
don't think
yeah,
I've
good
ever
point.
I don't think I've ever bottomed for somebody that was over 6.5. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have in the larger 10 category at times, and it's a lot of work, but it's fun. And yeah, I was looking at,
And a lot of
um,
breathing.
yeah, a lot of breathing, and I would put it in the more advanced category.
Oh yeah. Not
Yeah,
intermediate like me.
right. Hi to James. Hi to Doug. Hi, Teddy, if he's watching us live. Hi, Diego. Hello, James. Keep those comments coming through. All right. Well, it's time to get into our first topic on sexuality. And this one really was really interesting to me because it came from somebody writing in, and they wrote into a site that we go to a lot, and they said, my partner lost his sex drive after we committed. Now what? Here's what he had to say. My partner and I are going through an identical thing where he lost his libido after we settled into a committed relationship. He says that we love each other so much and have talked about it a bunch, but plus he's had therapy regarding finding ways to bring sex back into our relationship. We are open, which also helps scratch the itch, but he is the man I love and I need to be with. We will get through this and find each other again. He goes on to say, yeah, I am doing everything in my power to give him space when he needs it and put zero pressure on him. But the truth is, when we are together, I am on fire for him, and it's hard to continually feel rejected. This is a really interesting topic because I brought it up to talk about this particular issue, but also I wanted to talk about different libidos at different times as well. And somebody might have a huge libido and be horny all the time, and somebody else might not as much. And so matching those up sometimes isn't always the easiest thing. And I think that he brings up some good points about their relationship. How do you feel about their situation? They love each other so much, but that actually one of them isn't sexually, his libido isn't as charged as the other one.
So, I actually kind of went through something like this.
Hmm.
First of all, I want to say it doesn't sound like he has lost his sex drive because they still hook up with other people. It sounds like he's lost
Yeah.
his sex drive for somebody that he's committed to. So that's a big difference, and it's a red flag I wish I would have seen sooner. But uh, so like he said, being constantly rejected by somebody, it does a number on your self-esteem. I can tell you from personal experience, if somebody has a different sex drive than you and you constantly are trying to be intimate with them, and like they're still affectionate, but the whole sexual part they just completely reject you, it just does a number on your self-esteem. You start to I tend to overthink anyway, but it just sends your mind into overdrive. So I totally get him on that. And when there are differing sex drives, there are ways around it to circumvent it, but there was always a component of nerve. Well, when you hook up with somebody else, like a stranger, there's always like nerves and anticipation that you feel like that. And I feel like when you are with somebody else, it kind of changes a little bit. Like the nerves and the anticipation go away, but it's
Yeah.
replaced by intimacy and love and connection. And I feel like, honestly, when somebody is scared of that intimacy and that connection, that they're really just kind of running away from being vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, and in some ways, I feel there's two different conversations we're having, and one of them is when they have that intimacy that so many people are looking for in a relationship. They seem to
Hmm.
love each other so much, but what happens when maybe that fire is gone? I was reading another situation that was similar, that they love each other so much, they just personally, this particular couple doesn't want to have sex with each other, but they want to cuddle, they want to share life together, they're intimate. And I think that's a legitimate relationship if you're both on the same page with that.
Yeah.
If that's where the article where we got that from, actually, the person that put it together, that's his current situation and he's fine with it. Him and his partner are fine with that. I think when it comes to different levels of libido, that you can work out. So, I mean, just living together now in my relationship, we have different times when one of us might be more hornier than others, but we've talked about it a lot to figure out
Hmm.
times to make it work. But sometimes one of us might be more than the other one, but sex is still there. And
Yeah.
so we probably spend more time being intimate than anything else. And we're not having sex like every single day. And I'm fine with that because just life is busy and tough.
Life is tough.
And sex is a lot too. And I think intimacy is something that is really important to me and important in my relationship, but sex is too. And if I felt ever in my relationship that we weren't having it for, a period of time, that would really weigh heavy on me, especially
Yeah.
if I wanted it, like you were suggesting, and my partner didn't at times. I would go down that rabbit hole too. It would affect my
It's very easy.
self-esteem,
Yeah.
and all those things that you were stating would also bother me as well. And I think those are real things. I do like that they suggested and went to therapy because I think things can be worked out in this. You can find, if I think you both want to have sex, but if one of you doesn't want it at all, really, then you really need to question, are you going to be okay with this? And if you're not going to be okay with this, can you find sex with like a partner, somebody else?
Well, that doesn't. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It doesn't really compute to me. I need to probably open my mind a little bit about this because it might work for other people, but for me
Yeah, I'm
personally,
just saying there's different types of
yeah.
relationships,
And there's
and
different routes people can take, and
yeah,
I think maybe I have, I'm super hyper focused on because for me, the feeling that you get when you have sex with somebody that you love, there's not anything that can beat that. Like it's our souls are fucking touching between my ass and your penis, and my penis and your ass. Our souls are being connected through that. So it's an experience like no other. It's knowing how to please somebody, knowing where to touch them, knowing it's spiritual almost. So I can't understand, but more power to whomever.
yeah, I think
Sounds
it's,
sketchy.
since this person is bringing it up and where we got it from, the person that was writing the article is in a relationship that this works. I do go back to, all relationships are different and not everybody is, sex is one component of a relationship. It's not, for you, it sounds like it needs to always be there with your partner forever. And that's great. But I don't know that that's everybody. And as we explore
Yeah.
these topics all the time, sex might be important during one period for one person, and somebody else, they might be going through work, might be crazy. And for me, it's something that is important for sure. We do a sex podcast, but I don't put all emphasis on that at all. Intimacy
Mm-hmm.
and working just on really the intimacy with my partner is most
Yeah.
important. Then sex down is below that. And I love sex, but I just think, like I said, it's hard to always figure out timing and everything else, and
Yeah.
libidos and health and everything that's going on, that it can be hard. But I do make it a priority as well, and you do have to work on it as well. It's just that I think relationships come in all shapes and sizes, and there is no one way that anybody should feel. You just both have to agree on where you're at. So
I definitely see that, but I feel like, yeah, no, I agree with you that everybody gets to have their own personal thing. What do you think about the fact that in this relationship, the partner, not the person that's writing in, can go and have sex with other people outside of the relationship, but he can't really have sex. He's finding sex with his partner a little bit difficult.
that would bother me a lot, I think. So the things I were talking about, where maybe just somebody it's hard to find the time between the two of you, or
That I
but
understand
but if you're
completely.
finding that they're easily going off on their own, then
You
that
found
would
that
bother me.
time.
Yeah, that would bother me, and I wouldn't like that. And yeah, I think we would have bigger issues, even if we were open. If we had decided we were open, but we also were playing together, like we were still had something, a spark between us, that would really bother me. And yeah, I would need to seek out why you're doing this, and we would almost need more than therapy. I would consider, like, perhaps moving on.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I feel like some people out there, they feel like with they don't want to show a seedier side with their
Yeah.
partner. I feel like they think that they have to be chaste or they have to present a certain uh, image to their partner, and I think that that's a complete falsehood. I continue to tell my ex, I want the slut. I want the best part of you. I want every bit of you. I want that. So I think that uh, when it comes to partnerships like that, then I think it behoove everyone, and I'm speaking for myself mostly, to go in with your whole self. Like, be vulnerable. It's worth it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, these things are tricky, but it's a good conversation to have when libidos are different. We want to hear what you think as well. How would this really affect you if you were in a relationship like this and somebody's libido was a little bit different, or maybe it had petered out a little bit between the two of you, but you still had that love? Let us know. The conversation continues over on our Patreon page, where we have these discussions and you get behind the scenes content. You can go to patreon.com/tags podcast. And what would be the poll this week on that,
Oh,
Kodi?
oh wow! On the spot. New
Yeah.
poll. I'm making it right now.
Well,
Would you? Okay, I'll type it in, and then
okay.
we can keep
And that way you
discussing.
guys can vote on that. All right. Well, we are moving on to our next topic of sexuality. Kodi brought this one up, and I couldn't. This is such a good. I can't believe we haven't talked about this in a long time. But we're talking about our first time having sex. What was that experience like? And we also want to hear from you as well. My very first time. I have to like kind of think about when was my first time, because it all happened in college, and I had a few early experiences that most of them were good, but a few of them were not good. And you want the very, very first time?
Hmm.
Is that the question?
Yeah, let's do very, very first time.
Yeah. And then if we have time, we can foray into some other ones that maybe followed after that. But
Okay.
my very, very first time, I was a gymnast at UC Cal Berkeley, and I was on the gymnastic team. And I remember we were on a break, and I was walking from campus to where I was staying, and there was a guy following me in this big car. It was the early 90s, and I think it was like a big, I don't know, Chevy or something like that. He had the windows rolled down. It was summer, like getting close to summertime. It was warm, and he was like following me along the road as I was walking with the
That's
passenger window side down.
This seems like a
And
horror movie beginning.
I
I
know,
don't
and
know.
looking, and I know it is like a 90s horror film. And he was like looking
Right?
out at me, and he had like a buzz cut, kind of that army buzz cut look, and a big
Like with
guy.
like a skinhead?
If I was 20, 20, I was probably 21, 20, and he would have been in his like mid 30s. And it seemed like he was following me, but he kept motioning towards me. And my dumbass went over to his window and decided to see what he wanted. And he was telling me how he knew a lot of the other gymnasts on the team. And I should ask one of our former guests, Will,
Yeah,
because he went to UC
Daddy
Berkeley to see
will.
if he knew this guy. And he did a good enough job to get me to get into the car because he said that he knew all the other gymnasts. And yes, they hang out with me and this and that. So he brought me to his condo about 10, I don't know, 10 minutes away off
Uh-huh.
campus, and I went with him. And I'll never forget, we were like sitting downstairs. He ran upstairs to go change. He comes back down in the shortest shorts, and he's sitting across from me on his patio, and I'm sitting kind of nervous. And he's spreading his legs. He was kind of a big guy too. He was like 6'2", 6'3", and had these
You
big
really got a lot of
legs.
details on this. I love this.
Well, I remember it visually. And as he's opening his legs up, what pops out, he's wearing no underwear, is his dick, which he knew what he was doing. And I see it was soft and it's peeking out at me. And then I was getting a little verklempt and nervous, but I was also turned on strangely. I wasn't fully out at that time. And he decided to then he could probably tell that I was looking in that direction. And he said, "Can I give you a tour of the rest of his townhouse?" Which was just really like, one of those 2-story back in the day townhouses that they were just blocks and there wasn't that much decor. It was just carpet. And I mean, it was not bad. So we go upstairs, of course, and somehow we make it into his bedroom. And he gets on the bed and he asked me to come over. I literally climbed on top of him, took my hands off, and he had his shirt off now. And we didn't even do anything, but I like rubbed on him and I came all over his chest. That's how excited I was, I think.
Oh, wow.
But then I felt he also had a scent too that it wasn't a bad scent. It was just a scent that I didn't really
This sounds
like.
amazing.
It was okay, but he creeped me out at the same time as I just think I needed that first experience. That was the title of
Yeah.
this, that first experience. I needed to be with a man. I had pent up all this adrenaline for being with a man for all of these years. He was the first one that came along. He wasn't bad looking or anything. He was just a little predatory-ish. And I could not get my underwear and shorts back on quick enough. And I said, "Oh, I got to go." He's like, "Wait, you don't want to hang out? We can hang out."
Oh, he
And
sounds
I
kind of
said,
sweet though.
he was okay, but I made him drive me home immediately, which he did. I think we got together a few more times, and then the creep factor was just really bothering me. But it wasn't the worst experience. I mean, I didn't get murdered, which is really good.
Thank goodness, I think.
Yeah.
That's
And
whoever you are.
he was, since you entitled it first experience, first time, it was like I just described. I needed that to release finally, to be with somebody, and he wasn't the worst case scenario, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah, pretty crazy.
That
What
is a
was
great story. Mine is nothing
Before
like
you
that.
tell yours, we are live every Wednesday night. You can join us on the Crowdcast platform. You can always get the link on our website or go to our social media at the end of the show. We'll give our handles at the end. Doug, hi, Doug, watching us live, says, I was 15 with the neighbor's cousin. He was 16.
What?
Ooh, this is juicy. In the basement bedroom of my parents' house. Juicier. It was quite awkward to say the least. Oh, it sounds well. See, when you paint a picture, that sounded pretty hot.
That
But
sounds hot.
yeah, 15 with the neighbor's cousin. He was 16.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I like that one. Keep those stories coming. We also want to hear from you. By the way, what's the poll question for the week?
The poll question is, would you break up with your significant other over different sex drives? And the options are yes, I need it when I need it, or no, I understand my partner's needs.
Got it.
Well,
And
a needy
those
question
listening
today.
to us, go over to our Tags Patreon community where this will continue all week long. But vote today. Would you break up with your significant other over different sex drives? I'm going to say no and just vote right now. Okay, keep those votes coming in. Kodi, you brought this up to me.
I
There has to
did.
be a story about your first time, your first experience.
So it was in college, just like you. There was this club that was in I went to college at ODU in Norfolk, Virginia, right? And there was this club that caused me to fail all my classes. It was a gay bar, but it was 18 and up. So, and somehow we were drinking back then. So I don't know how that was happening, but I remember having plenty of Zimas at the bar. So,
No, my God, Zimas. You and those like mixed drinks.
yeah, that's a malt beverage too. No wonder I love White Claw so much. Wow, taking me
Zima,
back.
White Claw.
So yeah, one night I was there because I was the treasurer of my uh, Gay Straight Alliance in my college, and there was another guy. I think he was a member. I don't think he was like part of the upper echelon, if you will. And we were just out at the club having a good time, and all of a sudden we were like making out and on the dance floor, and we went back to my dorm room, and I had a roommate, and he was asleep in the next bed. And all
The
I can
next
remember is us.
bed.
Yeah, in the next bed. And all I can remember is us having to be like really, really quiet. He had a really big dick.
What did you do?
We just fooled around. We did penetration too. So yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah. Because when I had fooled around with like guys that were in my neighborhood before, like friends that I had, kids that I played
Okay.
with, not kids, just like
So this really
12
wasn't your
years old.
first time.
I I don't want to say I was an underage whore.
Okay.
But I played around with people that were my age when I was much younger, like 12. Nothing, no penetration or anything. Well, we did some dick sucking. So
Okay.
yeah, but this was my first penetration experience.
Well, and you have a similarity to Doug where he says along with the 15-year-old with he was 15, the other guy, his neighbor's cousin, was 16. The caveat was my grandparents lived with us and they were upstairs.
Oh my
Not
goodness.
quite as bad as somebody being in the next bed, although I don't know, your grandparents are pretty how deep into the basement was this? Because yeah, that would freak me out if they ever found out. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom was a single mom, so we got this.
She was at work.
I ran a little rampant sometimes. When she was at work.
I love it. That should be our next poll question. Basically, was your first experience a good one or a bad one? And if you want to explain a little bit more, we would love to hear more. And that is our next poll question. I guess Mine, after telling you that, was for the most part a good one, correct? And I gave you
Yeah,
that
that's
long explanation on why, to me, it was a little bit creepy and so forth. But it wasn't a bad one, so it was a good one. I had some others later on that were better, but yeah, it
oh
wasn't
yeah.
bad. Yeah,
Your first time is always like it's you got a lot going on. You're working through a lot of
yeah,
things about and you don't know what you're doing. So
right.
I was just
Yeah,
like, I'm
exactly. There's a
I'm
lot of
taking this world on the
anxiety
chin.
and
Yeah.
oh, on and on. Yeah. Bryce says my first real sexual experience was in college during study abroad in Germany in the car. Oh, I like where this is going. The windows fogged up as we listened to R&B. I ended up sneaking him in my host parents' house. Ooh, risky. Downstairs after hours. It was incredible. I first went all the way the next year in college, and this guy blew my back out so good. I wanted a cigarette laughing at that. Okay.
Okay.
You better vote that
Get
your
it.
first experience was a good one because, yeah, that's great. Oh, keep these going. We will keep this conversation going, but it's time to move on to hot topics. And there are a lot of them hot LGBTQ plus topics. And the first one, I just had to talk about this one. When a man with the world's largest penis, who measured it, seriously injured it in an accident caused by his genitals. Yes, you heard me right. The man with the world's biggest penis has been left in agony after suffering a serious injury as a direct result of his enormous member. His name is Matt Barr, whose girth measures an eye watering 8.5 inches. That's not the largest. But is that girth? That's girth. That's big.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. I was like
has
8.5
regularly
inches.
spoken about the pitfalls of what many might perceive to be a blessing. And he's 41. He broke his arm following what he described as a very embarrassing accident, explaining why his 14-inch phallus, which is equal to 1/5 of the height of a refrigerator, poses a serious health and safety hazard. He told how his massive member blocked his viewing, causing him to trip and tumble head first out of his own bathtub. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Well, at Secret Agent M8 has some competition that we were talking about earlier, but what happens when this? You can't sue your own penis, so you just
When
got
you're
to like
tripping
pay
on
for
your
the
penis.
doctor bills.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really
Wow. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't even know what to say or how what advice to this is just wild. I
Yeah, that's
I feel for
crazy,
this man.
but
Yeah.
he's lived to tell about it, and I don't know, tie it up, I guess. Um, moving on
Tie it
to
down. It looks like a wild
yeah,
animal.
tuck it, and be careful when you untuck. Somebody that we love, David Archuleta, who we talk about a lot on this show, who's really been he likes girls, but he also likes boys as well. He's been performing a lot. We like some of his songs. Creme Brulee is one of his latest ones that I really like. He recently performed at Chicago Market Days. He says that girls are great, but guys are easier. I'm very much in my
Oh.
lover boy flirty era. Here's what he said. For the most part, I date men, but I consider myself queer. So I'm still open to meeting girls. I still do it if it feels right. I feel like with guys, it's easier because, to be honest, I think guys are just culturally and just hormonally more forward. I'm very much in my
Mm.
lover boy flirty era, and it's a very fun time for me. You know what my favorite part about this is when I read the comments on this? Somebody who goes by the name of Fod says, "Is this sometimes referred to as the horror phase?" Which I was like, yeah, kind of interesting wording the way I'm in my flirty boy
I
mode right
mean,
now. I've been in
me
my
too.
flirty boy summer mode before when I was single, and it
Definitely in
somewhat
flirty
was
boy
my
summer
horror
mode right
mode.
now.
Yeah, I think
It
you
sounds
came to
better than
mind.
horror mode.
It does. I mean, I think when I've been single and out and about, I'm flirty and fun when I go out in groups of people in
And a
general.
lover
Even,
boy.
yeah, not a lover boy as much as we were at that dinner party with a group of guys
Yeah.
last week. And that was a perfect example of Diego's a lot more quiet. I tend to talk a lot more. And I was like bebopping and talking to everybody and
Yeah.
not so much flirty, but I was just effervescent is a word I
Yeah.
would
And
use.
engaging.
And
Yes.
engaging. And I think I was in a period that that person was referring to David before where I was much more flirty and talking to everybody because I was also in my whore phase as well. And that's fun
No, no,
too.
no. Flirty lover boy phase. That's what we it's all about branding, darling. So it's
Is
all
that
about
what
how
we're
you
calling?
frame things.
Is
Yes,
that the
honey. Yes.
summer of flirty? What's it called?
Flirty,
Flirty,
flirty lover boy. That's what it's called.
flirty lover boy. I love that. Yeah, I'm not mad at it, and he's really
Yeah.
finding his rhythm right now, and I think that's really good. Are you a fan of it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm in my phase right now too. So me and David Archuleta, we need to get together. I know it's Teddy's fave, so I'm not gonna push up on him, but
Yeah, right. Yeah, stay away, girl.
I'll lose a hand. So if I try to touch him. So, but yeah, we can go out together. We can mac on some dudes together. Me and David Archuleta. He's a cutie. I adore
Yeah,
him. He's got a great voice too. So yeah.
yeah, right. Good for him. All right. Well, moving on to hot topics, more hot topics. Hillary Clinton urges same sex couples to get married. Quote, they will do to gay marriage what they did to abortion. She said American voters and to some extent the American media don't understand how many years the Republicans have been working in order to get us to this point. It took 50 years to overturn Roe versus Wade. The Supreme Court will hear a case about gay marriage. My prediction is they will do to gay marriage what they did to abortion. They will send it back to the states. That's kind of what we were alluding to the other day is that if
Yeah.
and when they do hear it, which I'm hoping she's wrong, but if they
Mhm.
do, they could send it back to the states and then you might be married in one state. It might
Mhm.
make them realize in another state to recognize it, but it might not. She goes on to say anybody in a committed relationship out there in the LGBTQ community, you ought to consider getting married because I don't think they'll undo existing same-sex marriages, but I fear that they will undo the national right. So
Mhm.
I'm planning a wedding this year, and the invites
Oh,
just went
that's
out, and
cute.
I'm happy I'm getting married. You got to find somebody, Kodi.
I'm
And
really quick. I'm taking
yeah,
I'm taking any and all proposals right now. You got to bring a ring though. Okay.
it's exactly. Let's get Cheryl back on and get you in that database of
Oh,
matchmaking.com.
I'm ready for that. Let's do that. Yeah, for
Yeah, because she
sure.
does have a point, though. It sounds at one point this would have sounded like just a fright announcement to make and a blatant statement
Mhm.
that now it seems like it could be a reality. And what do you think about her advice to if you're in a relationship, get out there and get married now?
I mean, I think she's being very practical, and I'm glad she agrees with us. And I feel like this is something that has been on a lot of people's minds. And to hear someone as prolific and that knows so much about the inner workings of the government, like Hillary Clinton, say something like this, it should people put people on alert. So yeah, they go back to not to bring Kamala into it. They constantly bring up the clips of her saying, "Oh, he's going to do this when he gets in office. Oh, he's going to do that when he gets in office." And she's
Yes.
been right. So we need to start listening, okay, to these beautiful, talented, intelligent women.
Yeah. The only thing I will say that we were talking about it, I think, on a recent episode, we both saw stories on this where a lot of congressional type of lawyers really were saying the the likelihood now Roe versus Wade had been in existence for years and years and years. And yes, they did hear it. And yes, it was a conservative court. And yes, they did overturn it.
Yes.
Marriage, same sex marriage has only been around for 10 years. And many of these think heads basically alluded to the fact that it's too soon for them to even, just because Kim Davis, hate even saying her name, brought it up, doesn't mean that they're going to, they hear a lot of potential cases that they could take on. And one that has been only in effect for 10 years is very unlikely for them to take on right now.
Hmm.
But it could, and she is right, it could go back to the States and it could make it really tough for a lot of people. So I'm just really, if you are in a relationship, maybe consider what Hillary is stating and grandfather your marriage in. But let's
And
just
if you're
hope it
not in a
doesn't come to
relationship,
that.
hit me up, okay?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Staying on hot topics. Well, Pope Leo, remember, the new Pope basically said that he is not endorsing same-sex marriage, talking about same-sex marriage, but he welcomes a pro-LGBTQ plus reform group to the Vatican. What am I talking about? Well, basically, this October, a shift will happen in Rome, just like its predecessor, Pope Francis. Pope Leo will be opening the Vatican doors to We Are Church, a reform minded Catholic movement that has long advocated for inclusion, particularly when it comes to LGBTQ plus voices. It is a shift, I think, to what he said before about not wanting marriage in accepting marriage between same-sex couples. But some are saying this is really good, that he is
Mhm.
really welcoming our community into the church. But others are saying that it doesn't go far enough. What do you say to this?
I think any step forward is a good step forward, especially when it comes to the Catholic Church, because I feel like they've been they've been taking half a tenth, a hundredth of a step for the past 100 years.
Yeah,
So I think this is fantastic. At least he's willing to hear other opinions and differing views on everything, and for him to be inviting this uh, progressive Catholic
yeah.
uh, organization, like it's not like it's a progressive different denomination of Christianity. It's actual Catholicism and how people want to evolve it and bring it to the next level to where it's more inclusive of everyone. So I think it's a wonderful thing, and for the Pope to be doing this is pretty. It's amazing, honestly.
And how will this show up? Basically, 8 representatives of this We Are Church will attend Holy Year, gathering of synodal teams and participatory bodies at the Vatican from October 24th through the 26th. And while the group isn't new to the Vatican stage, it joined a major social gathering with Pope Francis nearly a decade ago. And it will be its first formal invitation to a Holy Year event. Christian Weisner of the Voices of We Are Church put it simply: the movement hopes that the synodal spirit, the sense of dialogue and connectedness that Pope Francis emphasized in 2023 and 2024's synod assemblies, will remain alive and visible. And with Pope Leo taking up the torch, there's optimism that these conversations won't be shelved but expanded. So, yeah, I second your motion that this is progress. It's in a seat at the table, if you will, to something that is really monumental in the Vatican that happens every year, and to have that inclusion for an organization that looks at our community is really big, I think.
I agree.
Yes, exactly. Uh, Moving on to Florida is threatening. Florida's threatening to blast rainbow crosswalks away if city governments won't do it. And of course, it's Governor DeSantis who's threatening the Delray Beach and Key West for defying anti-pride directives. Is Orlando Pulse inspired crosswalk next? They ask the question. This is just, I can't stand things like that. What do you care about a rainbow colored flag? And Governor Santos is just up Trump's ass and just
That's all
wants
it is.
to,
It's performative.
like, they want to erase Black history from Smithsonian museums and even beyond that, as if slavery never existed. And it's not like that's only you're going to learn. They want to also take away anything that is representative of diversity and culture. And seriously, a rainbow colored crosswalk, typically in neighborhoods, doesn't shouldn't offend anybody. And
Yeah.
they just need to, I hope they keep it and defy him anyway. What do you say?
Well, some of the smaller cities are they've already taken a lot down, but cities like Miami and Orlando, where the Pulse has a whole mural around that crosswalk. So I think they're going to give him a run for their money around there. So I think this is just a reminder, like with gay marriage and Hillary Clinton, that we need to be out there in the streets fighting this nonsense, because we're not going to be erased at the end of the day.
Thank you. Let's remind you to take our polls. We've got 2 of them. They will be up all week on our Tags Patreon community. We're asking the question, would you break up with your significant other over different sex drives? Yes, I need it when I need it. No, I understand my partner's needs is number 1. So far, it looks like no, I understand my partner's needs is in the run. Kodi, I
Oh,
feel like
wow.
you're on the other
I'm
end of
on
that.
Lonely Island. Yeah.
Well, okay, so that's just tonight, and we're going to continue this all week long. We'll read more of these when we talk to you next week on Tuesday's show. Here's our second question. Was your first experience a good one or a bad one? Feel free in comment section to let us know either today or on our Tags Patreon community. So far, it's yes, it was like a Disney movie is where we're headed with 75%, and no is the other option. It was like a horror film, like we say in New York. Let us know how you weigh in on that, and we will post all week long and tell you the results. Okay, it's time to give some advice, and we wanted to do this one about a throuple. How do we balance individual wants and shared commitments in a throuple? For the past 8 years, I have been in a throuple. My original partner and I are the same age, and our third partner is a quite bit younger. For the last 5 years, we've lived together on a rural property. Before our younger partner joined us, my OG partner and I traveled quite a lot, both overseas and domestically, including a couple of overseas trips together and several. In the early days of our extended relationship, my original partner and I traveled. He goes on to say that we care for a lot of animals on the property, quite a few of which belong to our younger partner. But about a year ago, he got involved in the goat breeding community, and we met a new group of friends, including a gay couple. They recently invited him on a gay cruise. He asked if we wanted to go, but it's not our style. So we said no, meaning my original partner and I will care for the property while he's away. Yesterday, I found a similar regular cruise around the same time. So I suggested to my original partner that I take the trip. I thought it would give us a shared experience. This goes on to, it's quite long, but they're basically questioning the throuple and the relationship on are they in trouble if they don't all go on the same trip, correct, Kodi? And if 2 of them go on a particular trip, what does that mean for the third one, correct?
Yeah, well, I feel like when I read it, the third guy that was going on his own trip, when he found out about the trip that they took separately, he had an issue with it. So I think that's an important component too, because I don't think they even discussed it with the third guy. But I was trying to reread it.
I think you're right. Yeah. And it's essentially, but here's my thoughts on a lot of that. It's that the thruples that I've known, there's a great couple out in thruple in San Francisco. They go by MRS, and they basically have 2 of them were together for a long time. That's usually the way it works. And then a third comes in afterwards. The 2 that were together will sometimes go on trips by themselves, but sometimes the newer member, and by newer, the newer member's now been with them for like 10 years. So it's not that new anymore. Sometimes because of scheduling and work, that 2 of them will partner up and go on a trip together. The other one knows that, and he's not mad at that. And I feel like if I was in a throuple too, we're not always going to be having the same schedules. I wouldn't mind going with one at one time, with another time, or if I'm busy, I'll stay home and hold down the fort while you 2 go off. I feel like that would be my alone time. This relationship, I feel they haven't really talked it through enough to figure out how that will look like. and they're getting a little bent out of shape with it. I think they really need to sit down. I've been around another throuple before where two of them live in one remote area and the other one travels in to see the two others when he can, which is usually once a week, but he works in another part. And they were on a cruise recently where they all went together, but not all of their schedules are always conducive to do that. So sometimes the OG couples goes off by themselves, but again, they talk it through. And it sounded like in this one, a cruise was mentioned and the other two didn't accept the invitation, but then they planned their own cruise, and that miffed a lot of feathers. Am I right on that?
I mean, that's it in a nutshell. I think that the real issue here is I think they said that they wanted to go on more things together. And so when the third younger boyfriend said something about planning this trip, they turned it down. And it wasn't about scheduling, I don't think. I think it was more about they thought it wasn't their vibe, which was fine. But when it came time to plan another trip or another cruise, well, they said that they had this in their minds. They felt like they had this time free, so they went and planned another trip, which I think is not okay. I think like you said, if they had discussed it before and they can each make their own plans and do all these things, I feel like this third partner wanted to feel included because he probably is new to the relationship and he wanted to do something that was a shared experience between the three of them. And I think that by planning this trip by themselves, just the two of them, where they have taken many trips together by themselves already, it made him feel left out. And I
All
think
this
that's
can
an
be
issue.
worked out if they just sat down, and they're a group now. They have to have a meeting. And
Exactly.
it's that
Group
much
meeting.
easier, I think, group meeting, throuple meeting, whatever you want to call it.
Yep, throuple
It's
meeting.
probably
Let's do
even
it.
the one thing about being in a throuple, I think, would be calling a meeting would be that much easier. You know, when you have to talk to your partner about something and it's you're trying to find that right time, is he in the right mood? And you know it's something that's dicey sometimes. I mean, I know I'm talking for
Yeah.
myself sometimes
You know
about
what? I
certain
never do that.
sensitive, well, if it's
Maybe
something
I
like a
should.
sensitive topic or it's something that I really want him to do, to
Oh,
say
okay.
yes to, then I often are looking for those moments. But I feel like if you were in a throuple, it's so easy to call a group meeting and just get that going. And this is something that's important to them. They could totally hammer this out and figure it out about what's important to each one of us in terms of when we travel. It wouldn't be that hard. And you know, you could still come up with the fact that somebody will figure out something. Oh, Diego's watching us live and putting the
What do you say? What do you say?
and now there you just put the like, I'm thinking about that. Be careful what you say. No, I'm joking, baby. But communication seems lacking, according to Doug. And yeah, I agree with that. Let's move on to this is an easy one. And while I'm doing that, I'm putting Thirst Trap in your messaging here so you guys can vote. This was such an easy one, though, that we were like laughing. Somebody was asking for advice on Reddit, and here's what they said: grocery shopping date. I proposed going grocery shopping together as a date to two different guys now, and neither of them have been interested. We got on different dates, dinner, movies, drinks before and since then, but for some reason, the idea of going grocery shopping isn't of interest to them. Is this a weird idea? Can I just say yes? I think it would be
Yes.
a fun time and a chore we both have to do anyways. Oh my God. All I can think about is I live really close to a grocery store. In fact, I live above one. And
Exactly.
I am in there often 3 times a day because it's kind of like my cafeteria. I'm always figuring, oh, I forgot this, but it's like right there.
It's
I'm
right
in and
there.
out. I know staff members there. I know too many people that work there that they would, if I was going on a date, they would start to figure out, here he is with another one.
Here's Steve with another one.
Bringing him down the sausage aisle and all of that stuff. And yeah. And
oh, that's a new euphemism for me. I'm bringing him down the sausage aisle tonight.
Honey. And the peach aisle over there. And I just think that would be the worst. Also, in New York, it would be the worst place because in New York, we have really small stores and you are fighting with other people. You're fighting with shoppers. It would just be a clusterfuck. I think it's probably one of the worst ideas. And I don't want to know. I don't want them to know all the little things that I eat. And I just think, no. I want some mystery. Going grocery shopping with me. What if it was a toilet paper day and you need to buy toilet paper? Is that really sexy? It's not. I'm telling you, it's not.
Or some Pepto or something like that.
Doug says horrible idea.
Well, for me, the supermarket is just not. It's not a romantic place. What are they doing? Supermarket sweep? What is going on in there? Because I don't get it. It's not romantic. It's a chore, and I don't think we should be doing chores when we should be getting to know someone and trying to make someone feel like they are wanted. I think that's when you were doing grocery shopping, you can't put the type of emphasis on getting to know someone and really romancing them. That's what I think is really missing from the grocery store is romance.
Also,
and what are you going to ask me?
Dressed up and go to the garage. Like I go with a baseball cap on, and I after the gym, and I'm like, get out of my way. I'm
in and out.
It's a war zone when I go into the grocery store. Horrible idea. Colby watching us live says, I agree at the store. I'm in, I get out. Yeah, exactly. Not fun. Well, it's time for Thirst Trap, produced by Straight Up Gay Porn, when Straight Up Gay Porn asked the question, out of these 15 not suitable for work images that were taken by adult performers, who took the best photo? It's our job on an audio podcast to let you know how and why we picked the one. Who did you pick and why?
I picked Alejo Ospina because, of course, he's fucking hot and I've watched his stuff all the time. So he's on a boat, it looks like, and he's sitting down. He's actually fully clothed, but yeah. But he's on a tank top and shorts, but clearly
that's who I picked.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you asked me first.
Yeah, that dick is peeking out. So
dick peeking out.
Speaking of like my story, my first experience, I wish the dick was peeking out like that. It wasn't, but
on that,
yeah, that's a nice peek out.
He wouldn't be creepy to me. I would be like, whatever you want, baby.
I love it. Yeah, it's really a sexy picture, and he's in number 2 right now because I voted for him.
Tom Selleck, so I get it.
He's giving an updated Tom Selleck, right? Yeah, updated 2025.
Glasses. Yeah.
Diego, my partner, watching us live, says right below him, Jolien, who is very sexy, I would say, taking a selfie in the mirror. And what I like about it is I like these walls behind him. It's like cabin walls or something. It looks like he could be on a boat or I'm not sure where, but he has a really good foreskin, I have to say, that's touching the tip of the sink. It's like a cabin he's in, which makes it all very summertime and remote. He's got great abs, great hair. I'm describing him for you, Diego, and a great chest with a right nipple pierce, the kind that go through the nipple, the bar, which is really sexy, and a great hairy chest. It's nice after 5 shadow, great lips, I would say too. Okay, he would get my pick too.
He's definitely sexy. I watch a lot of his stuff, and I think that it's very hot. He's a hot guy. But the reason I didn't pick him is because he has like a scared look on his face. Look at his eyes.
Yeah, I don't like the eyes. It's one of those pictures when he's not using an iPhone. Maybe that's what it is. It's like a Samsung or something. But
we're not iPhone shaming, are we?
But I think it's like I've done this too, where you're so trying to get that right angle.
Yeah,
Diego says crazy eyes. He's got crazy eyes.
He's so.
Yeah.
I think he's
So,
a sweet
but you
guy
know what?
too.
If you just take your mouse
Oh,
and
we
cover
cropping
his
his eyes out.
eyes, and you go from the nose down, you've got it, and it's
Yeah,
perfect.
he's a
But
hot guy.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Anybody else voting? Big Rod for me, says Bryce. Alejo close second. Love it. A lot of people like Alejo. Oh my gosh, we could do this all night.
Yeah.
You can follow my co-host Kodi on the gram at Mr. Maurice and on Blue Sky. Don't forget to get his single "I Don't Want to Fight" wherever you get your music out now. Follow me on the gram. I am _Stevie. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.